Hello, this is Dr. Bob Zybach. This video was taken on February 4th, 2021 on two entryways to the Elliott State Forest with David Gould. These entries go through private property that connect county roads with the Elliott. And David has been personally maintaining these roads for 5 or 10 years. He is going to demonstrate how to maintain potholes, log cribs, the dangers of the roads, landslides, and so on. This cut is 40 some minutes long. It is made specifically for education of forest managers. We will be editing it down to about 20 minutes for the ongoing forest recreation class we've been working with Southwest Oregon Community College. But this longer version is, as I say, for managers. It's not the public version, and please use some discretion when sharing with others. Here's a map of where we'll be going today. We start out at Larson Way, where it meets the North Bay Road. We go through County Road, and then we connect up at Sullivan Creek with the Deans Mountain Road 3000 that goes through private property and connects to the Elliott. The second place we'll be going will be from Lakeside. There is the North Lake Road that connects up to the Benson Ridge Road, and we'll follow that, go through private property with a no trespassing sign, and touch into the Elliott. So this stretch of road here and this stretch of road here are roads that David has been maintaining almost single-handedly for many years, and that's what we will be looking at today. That's David, is this a county road here?
This is the county road.
Why aren't they maintaining it?
Because they've got a short budget, and they don't. They could do this, but they don't. Okay, here's what they got to do.
How long have you been filling in these potholes?
Well, I've been pretty much 3 weeks pretty straight.
For how long?
Pretty much for 3 weeks pretty straight. 2 or 3 trips a day.
Okay, 2 or 3 trips a day for 3 weeks. How many years?
Huh?
How many years have you been filling in these holes?
Well, I've been doing it all my life, but they really got going after they stopped maintaining them roads out here. Like in the Elkhorn, they stopped maintaining that. 2300 and
So you've been doing it since your retirement.
yeah,
When was that?
72.
Oh, no, when do you retire?
Well,
What year?
and, well, that's about 10 years ago.
Okay, so you've been doing this 10 years on your own at no cost to the county or the
No,
Department of State Lands.
no. This is a hole.
Yeah.
you don't do that, that's all it takes. They'll fill that up and it won't become this.
Uh-huh.
So that's what I do. I try to catch them when they're like this or smaller, like this.
Uh-huh.
So it's not so much, don't take so much rock
Yeah.
and whatever.
So a little spot like that will become a larger spot like that. How long does that take about?
Well,
Depends on the traffic, I know.
depends on the rain. The rain's the key.
Oh,
You got to have water in the road.
yeah,
See, here's the water. Every time you drive through it, it splashes.
yeah, yeah,
And that splashes, this fine stuff comes out,
yeah.
and then even these rocks do.
Uh-huh. So those are rocks you put in before yourself,
Part of
probably.
this here, but I didn't quite get enough.
Uh-huh.
Here's a good, this one up here is a good example.
Uh-huh.
This, you can see the bigger rock I had here before. I just didn't get enough. See, I got to get rid of this water.
When did you put that rock in?
More or less, I don't know, six months ago, probably.
Oh, within the last 6 months.
See, I got a hole down here. Anyway, that's good enough, I think. We'll let these good people go by.
Dave, are we still on the county road here?
Yeah, we're on the county road.
Okay. When did this wash out? Just a couple days ago. Have they replaced the culvert? So it was a plug culvert that was the problem. Uh-huh. What's all those that big stuff up above us there? So this was what? Up there, covered with moss. It looks like rock or something. What is it? Oh, okay. It looks like rock or something. An old growth log. Okay. Dave?
Yeah. We're coming off the county road onto the
That's what I wanted.
Elliott State Forest road. It's 3,000.
Now, is that?
This is the 3,000. That's 0 on the 3,000. Sometimes they call it the Dean Mountain Road.
That okay?
And this, we're coming onto private ground. This ranch here is an old ranch that belonged to Grossons. They've been there for years.
That's the Grosson Ranch.
Yeah, they gave them a right of way to go through here.
The Grossons gave the
State of right of way
to who?
to the state of Oregon,
State Land Board.
state land board.
Okay, so that State Land Board access has got no sign on it.
That's their access on the I-4. This is where your people are going to recreate.
Uh-huh.
You're going to be going, and the one I want to talk about, they don't maintain it. And the reason why they don't maintain it, they don't have any log rolls, so they don't have funds for it.
Yeah.
until you get up here about 3 miles,
Yeah.
and then you come on the Elliott State Forest property.
So what we're talking about here is this is the right of way.
This is the right of way.
To private land.
They had to buy it. It has to be maintained by the user. User fees. They're not using it, but they're going to have recreation come up here, so that they have to pay. The recreate, they're going to have to maintain it for that, if nothing else.
But they have the right of way, but the agreement is they've got to maintain it.
Well, that's how it works. Yeah, and the landowner that owns the property,
Yep.
he does something that he's a portion of what he does on the road. He has to pay for it.
Uh-huh.
In other words, he logs some of his property, which they've done, and he has to pay for the use of the road.
So they've got a written agreement.
They have a written agreement.
Okay, so whoever is using the road has to pay for its maintenance.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then if we go a little bit further, and then there's another property owner up there. It used to be Hutchison,
Yeah.
their name, and he used to work for my dad in the office.
Yeah.
So I know all about that. I built the property up there. I logged their property, part of it, so they could build a house. Well,
Yeah.
they don't use it. They just go back and forth so that nobody's maintained the road, so they get holes in here you can't hardly drive through. And you see, so we showed you some of the holes, but I have filled all the holes here over the years, and
Uh-huh.
I was up here this week and finished filming again.
So you just filled this up last week.
Yeah, I got finished here, and I got finished on Benson Ridge, which is a 5,000 up out of Lakeside.
Okay. So this is
You can come from here,
yeah.
go up to 3,000, hit the 2,000,
Yeah.
go down to 5,000
Yep.
to the blacktop. So
Yeah.
from here to the blacktop on the other end, every hole is filled on this road right now.
Okay. And you did that yourself?
I did that myself.
And in the last 3 weeks?
Yeah,
Okay.
and I'm getting the rock from the rock quarries down here, mainly because I was in that business, and they're friends of mine, and they're donating the rock.
So the rock is donated, your time is donated, your equipment is paid for by you,
Yeah,
and you're doing the road maintenance between on the right of way between the county road and between the Elliott State Forest boundary.
Yeah, I'm the only one doing it
Well, yeah, that's what
on that part, and then I also do the other, and I do over 50 miles of maintenance on here. I work with a contractor, Mark
Mark
Huff.
Huff.
I work with him, and I work with Brian Singleton.
Ryan
Ryan.
Singleton,
Yeah.
the forester.
And I'm actually working for Vicky Walker and Allie Hansen also.
Well, you're working for them. When's the last time you saw them out here?
Last time I heard the governor come down and said how nice the roads were, but
Were you with them?
no,
Okay, so you haven't ever actually met them out here.
but I've met the guy. Okay, what I want to show here, because they're not maintained, this is a grader. The water sits on the road, and why it's sitting on the road, if you look over on the side here, we've got a berm. That's holding the water on the road.
What's holding it?
This berm, see it here? That's a berm.
Okay, so
Oh,
it's
water.
it's higher than the road surface.
Yeah, and same thing over here. You can see where the rocks get put. This rock, the grader should put it on the road.
Uh-huh.
And this stuff out here, all this compost, leaves and everything,
Yeah.
the right way to do it would be bring a sweeper up here and actually sweep this stuff off the road.
I see.
But they don't do that. They try to, they'll blade it either down and off, and then try to get the gravel on.
Uh-huh.
And this here is what's holding the water on the road. And when you hold the water on the road, the holes come back.
So the holes are caused by water on the road.
By the water on the road, because I don't have a crown. See, the crown's been lost because I haven't graded it back. If you look right up ahead of us here, you can see that. See the berm on the outside?
Yep.
Now the water's running all the way from around the corner.
Yeah.
Actually, it's running for almost a half a mile, over a quarter of a mile,
Yep.
down the road, puddling in here, and then here's where the holes are.
Wow.
That's what I want to show when I go over on Benson Ridge. That's really critical over there.
Okay.
Now, I could fill these holes forever, but unless you get the berm off to get the water off the road, I just every year I have to keep doing it.
Uh-huh.
starting up at 5,000, and I want to show they need to cut the berm on the outsides, just blade it over both ways, and then pull the rock on the road and get it crowned. Now you can see the road is completely destroyed. You can look at the camera and watch it. It's just all rutted up, and all the water runs right down the road and takes the gravel down to onto the county road or over the bank. All they have to do is take the blade both sides away and then pull the rest into the road. Nobody wants to grade this road here.
Who owns this road?
I believe this is on, but this is a state board, Elliott State Forest Road, the 5,000. The right-of-way starts right at the junction of the county road back there.
So is it Elliott Forest right-of-way, or is it Elliott Forest property?
No, it's right-of-way.
Who owns the land?
I believe Lone Rock Timber does here. It's
okay.
A combination of Lone Rock Timber and the Roseburg Lumber Company up there.
Okay. And how much right-of-way is there through here?
Well, there's over 2.5 miles that they don't maintain.
Okay.
And here I put rock on it right here. Now we're going downhill, and you go for over half a mile here, and the water don't get off the road again.
Uh-huh.
This is against all the environmental rules and everything else. And you can see that it just runs right down the ruts.
Uh-huh.
And it can't get away because of the vegetation on the outside, and then it's built up 2 ruts where the traffic goes.
So the vegetation holds the runoff, and that creates the berm, and then that forces the water into the road.
Water stays in the ruts.
Okay, and the reason this isn't being maintained is because why?
Well, because the state won't maintain it. It's on the private ground part, and they have the money to do the maintenance is built into the hull, the timber volume that comes out over it. Nobody's logging up there, so there's no funding. And you got the Department of Forestry land up here. They've got some funds for that, but they refuse to do this part.
No.
I do this. I do it personally. I have to put rock on here. Once in a while, I'll bring my tractor up here and work on it a little bit, but my tractor's broke down now. But this here, a grader could berm all this off the sides and then pull the rock into the middle and crown it, and the water would run off the road both ways. But here it's running down the road all the way to the bottom of the hill, and it's about a half a mile. Right here somewhere is a half-mile marker from the county road. It's right here on the tree, right here.
Yep,
we
right
went
there.
By it.
Yep.
And I filled 2 holes right ahead of us there. You can't, right here. 3 holes. You can see right there, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
And that one's got water showing right here. I got to get more rock on that. But it would be very easy to even make a ditch out on it to run the water off the road, but it's running right down this road clear to the bottom. And then when it gets to the bottom, you get a lot of fines, and then water sits there, and then it just makes tank traps, big holes. You could I can dump a whole yard of gravel in some of these holes up here to fill them. Right in the middle of the road. Here's where I dumped here. There's some brush that people put out there. That's down from Lakeside. But here's where I dumped one of my loads, and you can see where I filled the holes.
Yep.
And then that's the little extra. And you can feel this. I need to come up here and blade it down with my tractor. They won't grade it. They won't do anything.
And by they, you mean?
Department of Forestry or the timber companies. Nobody maintains it.
Now the right-of-way is to Elliott State Forest, so it seems like the.
Well, this is one of our routes for the recreation classes.
Right.
This is one of the main roads into the forest for the right out of Lakeside. It's right off 101.
Yep.
It's one of the most direct routes, and the road would be. It's a beautiful road if they just maintain it. It doesn't take that much money to maintain this thing.
Now, this came off of Elkside Lumber. They built it.
Well, they built it for they had a timber contract.
Right. Is the Lone Rock and Roseburg Lumber Company, did they come in then after the road had been built?
Lone Rock probably bought it from maybe different people had it, and then they bought it from them, like a farmer or something.
Uh-huh.
And then the furthest one up here, Roseburg has one of the sales that they bought, and it's still in dispute whether they can keep it or not. I don't know what's going to happen. The protesters tried to stop it. And,
That's the one that Roseburg bought from Elliott State Forest, from the State Land Board.
Roseburg just came up here and done the work on putting the roads in and the landings. Rocked them, but they didn't do any grading on this part at all. This hasn't been graded for probably 10 years here.
So when Roseburg Lumber bought that parcel, was that the first time they owned land back here? Or did they already own land back here?
Well, they bought some of from International Paper in here a few years back, so I'm not sure just on that part. But
So Roseburg Lumber bought some from International Paper and from Elliott State Forest.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here's another hill here where the water comes down. You can just see how rough it is.
Yeah.
Just completely lose it. Because the water don't run off the road, it comes down the hill. Here's a good shot of where the crap is on the side of the road that needs to come off so the water will run off here. It almost has a crown here yet, but it don't. I want to stop here and get out, and we'll talk about this here. This was another project that they did under contract, and they took the log crib. There was a log crib here that, because the saddle was too narrow and they wanted to keep the road higher. Yeah. So they put a log crib in. It rotted out, so they came back and put these logs or the rock in it. We'll get out and show it to you.
Okay.
The road was too narrow and they wanted to keep it higher here.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be so steep. So they put a log crib in here, but the logs were and filled in between them, but the logs rotted out, so they came back here a couple of years ago, took them out and put concrete blocks in on both sides, filled it back in, and they rocked it. Well, nobody's maintained it since then, except me, and what you have here is the water comes down the road.
Is that the old log crib there?
That's one of the log pieces of it.
Okay.
But the water comes down the road here for a quarter of a mile.
Yeah.
Runs down here, and it sits here.
Yeah.
The reason why it sits here is because you got this berm crap that gets out here. So it sits on the road, and then it's like here, and then you get water, and then it'll make holes. Well, I filled this up. I put probably 8 yards of rock in here.
So this is all your rock right through the middle there.
Put 4-inch rock on here. I've come back twice and done that. Yeah. I believe I have enough now, but it's got the bad thing about it is when the water comes down there and it runs over the edge. Yeah. What it's going to do is it could soften that, and then you could lose half of this road. That's what I'm worried about. They need to
have it wash out.
They need to have it some kind of a mechanism. Yeah. Up there to wipe the water off the road, like a berm or a water bar system or something. Yeah. So the volume of water don't come down here.
So a water bar would be up maybe around that corner there where we're looking?
Yeah, just up where you can see there, and then that would put the water off both sides before you get to where this narrow spot is. You don't want to lose this narrow spot.
Is there a way to put a water bar in there
you can actually do it with
I mean, where you can drive over it very comfortably.
Yeah, it wouldn't even have, all you could have to do is you can take an angle it off on an angle. Yeah. And make it lower so the water run off and don't run down the road. It's very simple to do with a grader.
But a lot of times those water bars are tough for a car to drive through.
Yeah, but they don't have to do it like a water bar. They can do a running water bar. In other words, they make it longer and not quite as steep, but it's got to start with it. So it'll pick the water in the middle of the road and run it to the low spot off the road. You can do that with a grader blade.
Oh, so it'd be a pretty minor operation.
You don't have to make a water bar. You just make it slope off.
Okay.
And here you can see where the water. I didn't get enough rock in here, and there's a real hole again. I'll pull up here and I'll throw some water gravel in there while we're here.
Okay. David, what do they call it when they put those logs in there to build up this low spot here? What do they call that kind of crossing?
It's a log crib.
A log crib.
Yeah, they put the logs are running with the road.
Uh-huh.
They go clear down, and then they put the cables across between the logs and tie them together.
Uh-huh.
And then they fill it in with dirt or whatever.
Yep.
Well, then the logs rotted out over the years, so then they had to take it out.
Yeah.
And dig down and put the concrete blocks, and they stack up. They match. It works real good, and then they fill it up.
Uh-huh.
So it's permanent again.
Uh-huh.
But if they don't maintain it better, they're going to lose it.
Uh-huh.
That's what I'm worried about.
So they do a good job on it. Is it called a concrete crib?
They got to get the water off the road before it gets here.
Uh-huh. Why don't they do that?
No, it's political.
Political?
The thing about it is, when it's wet like this,
Yeah.
I can kind of tell where it needs the rock. That's what I'm doing. See, it's wet here,
Uh-huh.
so that's low. The water sits there.
Uh-huh.
Good time to come out here is when it's wet.
So you can see those spots.
I can see it.
Uh-huh. Gotcha. How much are they paying you to do this?
Just about got it okay.
Okay.
Really what this needs is a grader to come down and shape it
Uh-huh.
and to get the crown in it and then get the water off.
Uh-huh.
And even this little hill going back this way, they can do that. Actually, all they got to do is come here with a grader
Yeah.
and hit the blade down on an angle,
Yeah.
put it down lower,
Yeah.
higher here, and you actually berm it off like that.
Yeah.
So this is higher here,
Yeah.
and it's lower over here, so the water will run off.
Mark could do that pretty easy, couldn't he?
He does that really good when they let him.
Ah. So David, what you're saying is little slides like this will fill up the ditch, and then the water comes out in the road, and then it runs downhill to, like we just saw at the log crib there.
If you're looking on the side here, you look at the grass, and that's a berm out there.
Uh-huh.
All the leaves in the grass.
So the water runs out in the road, and then the leaves and the grass get set to the side, and they create a little 2, 3, 4 inch berm, and that keeps the water in here. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
The whole thing slopes out, there's not that much water running off there. It's running out off the full distance, it's not getting quantity. So it runs down the road, you get more quantity.
Uh-huh. Is there a chance the road itself could go out here because of that?
Well, that's what happened, took the outside edge of the road off. When you come down there, I can show you right where the water went.
Okay.
I'll probably put 40 yards of rock in this 150-foot section here.
How many yards?
Probably 140 yards, maybe.
Over how much time?
About 10 years.
Uh-huh. So this slide here was pretty much caused by water running off the road.
See where the water runs here?
Just a second. Let me get you in there. So we got. Okay.
The water's running right down the road.
Yeah.
You can see where it runs here. There's the tracks.
Yeah.
Right past Bob, and you go right on down, and it goes right over the bank.
I'll get my feet in there for size.
Go right over. Okay, it's starting to go uphill here, so it runs off the road right there. And that's what took this edge of the road off, is that water.
Wow.
You get out here and you can take a better picture of it. There it
But
is.
don't get too close to that bank. It's undercut.
And then you can see where the water's running down there making ruts in that now. They've got to get this water off of here. You stand back here, you can look down there for 400 feet, and the slide still just kept going.
Yep.
Like
Wow.
I said, I had to put a lot of water to rock in here, but I can't get rid of this. This is my deal. I can't get the water off the road. I don't have a blade up here. The water's coming down this road, bringing that crap with it. A lot of that's leaves and needles and vegetation, and it becomes mud. And that's what that is out there. It's come off the road because the water hasn't running off the road. All these trees are shedding needles and everything, and you got to go somewhere when it rains.
So
you run over, you grind it up, and then it turns into goop and comes down here to these low spots and settles.
how often should they be grading this?
Well, they ought to grade it
Every year?
probably at least twice a year.
Twice a year. Okay. And they haven't done it for 10 years?
Probably not.
Okay. And then we get landslides like that. So we are in part of the Elliott State Forest, and then Roseburg Lumber bought it, and then they put up the no trespassing Scott timber sign.
Yeah, so they own the right of way, and the State Department of Forestry actually the Division of State Lands owns the right of way. The original right of way when they made the Elliott State Forest.
Yep.
They had to get the right of way easement from the private property owner. And they both own the right. They both own the road. They both have an easement agreement on it.
So even though they got no trespassing, you still have road right of way.
The road's the right of way.
Okay. So there's the berm. There's the water running into the road like we've been seeing.
It comes down here over the edge, and here's where the people got on the berm, screwing around, and they went off the road here. And they're limited, and they broke the top of that tree off. But they're over here, and they had to get somebody to pull them out.
Oh, so somebody wrecked here.
The vehicle was clear off the road here because of this slick berm. They got off here.
So it's a hazard.
It's a hazard, yeah. It's a death trap.
Wow.
These berms out here, they're slick, and they get on, and they take you in. They'd be liable for this. Somebody was killed here.
Somebody is killed here?
No, I said if somebody was, they could be sued for that.
Who would be the liable party?
Well, it's some private person up here, a pickup or a car or whatever, got off over in there.
But who would be liable for not maintaining it?
People got the right of way agreement.
So all the no trespassing signs that they put up there, that would protect them pretty much, wouldn't it? Couldn't they say?
They're basically on the right of way yet. They're on the road.
Oh, so the no trespassing has nothing to do with the road?
Well, not if it's a state right of way for the Elliott Forest. It was set up. It's like a historic easement agreement. It's just over several hundred since
70, 72, wasn't it?
They built these roads in here in the 60s, probably.
Jerry said it was after the Columbus Day storm.
Yeah, 62.
Yeah.
So that makes it over your 50 years or whatever it is.
Yep.
It's a historic road.
It's historic right of way, and it's just going to.
Basically, it's a public right of way because the common school trust land right of way.
That's true. So this is supposed to be public access, but we don't have maintained roads, and we got dangerous conditions.
Yeah. Now, when Oregon State buys it, or they're going to do, they got the same problem. I guess they'll probably just decommission the whole damn thing, and then all the private people that I think they got a sweetheart deal, so they come up here, we'll lose their right to the road here.
Uh-huh.
Part of the deal that Governor Brown tried to throw at us. And you can see I even put 4-inch rock in here. This rock in here, some of it's a foot deep.
A foot deep?
Trying to build the road back up, yeah.
Oh, I can see the 4-inch right there, yeah.
The reason why I put the bigger rocks is to try to hold it in here, because the water's still running down here, and they will until they come up here and then and crown the road and get it off.
Uh-huh.
And like I say, this is not on the Department of Forestry won't put any money on it.
Uh-huh. But somebody's got to.
Somebody got to get this straightened out. What I'm saying, somebody needs to come up here and take care of this. I'm 78 years old and I'm getting hard to get around. I even fell down the road here a little bit ago. So somebody's got to start taking care of this stuff. I'm going to do as best as I can, as long as I can. But
so here's the end of the maintenance and the beginning of the Elliott State Forest. And then back here where the road isn't maintained, that's where Roseburg Lumber purchased. Is that correct?
that's correct.
Okay.
Just bought it. And we don't know if we're going to be able to log it or what's going to happen yet.
And they built 2 landings up here, but the road hasn't been maintained. But right behind us here, and I'll turn around again, that's where Titan Kelly's been maintaining it, and that road looks real good up there. But this is the boundary, and this is where they stop.
We're going to go another quarter of a mile and then show you another structure.
Okay. So David, is this the same problem, that this mud and water down here is because they haven't bladed the road correctly?
Yeah, but I don't think you really want to let the water run off here.
You don't want to let it run
I
off.
don't think so, because it's going off here where the structure is, and it might wash it out someday.
Uh-huh. And we're about a quarter mile into the Elliott right now from the Roseburg lumber sale.
You can see I put 4-inch in here.
Uh-huh.
This hole here has probably got 6 yards of rock in it right here.
Wow.
Maybe more now. You see?
Now it's crowned out. Should it be bladed more level?
I need to come up here with my tractor and scatter it around a little bit. This was just dumped here.
Uh-huh.
See, I need more right there. You can see it. I can pull ahead, and I got plenty here, but we're going to go up and turn around, and I'll just dump my load somewhere.
Uh-huh.
Show you how I dump it.
Okay.
Take the shovel out because I got to knock that down a little bit when I come back.
Uh-huh. I think you still got some more rock in there.
Still got some?
I think so.
Yeah, okay, I'll put it right back here.
I just saw my first bird on the Elliott in some time. Not too many of them.
This thing down, but this is where a grader helps.
Uh-huh.
There's a little over, about a yard of rock spread there.
You've done this before.
Well, I'm lazy. I can actually run the water off the road with this gravel.
Uh-huh. But now, if it runs off the road, though, isn't there the problem again of landslide?
Well, we're pretty close here, all right.
Uh-huh.
But it's a lot better than it is down there.
Uh-huh.
What you have to do to get it to go off is do this. Get rid of this. All this is that gump that's on the edge of the road.
Yeah. Can they do that with equipment pretty easy?
Well, the grader do it real well.
Yeah.
That'll pretty much get it started right there.
Uh-huh. So just that little trench you dug in there will redirect the water.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Don't take much.
Uh-huh.
Kind of like that.
Ah.
Need to do something over here. On the other end, I got to fill up a couple holes down there.
Uh-huh. Try to avoid your plumber butt.
Get my beaver tail organized.
I've been pretty careful with the camera.